Hello nieces, hello nephews, it's your Uncle Charles here, and welcome back to my YouTube channel where we do unbiased price action analysis. Welcome back everybody to Uncle Charles' YouTube channel. Somebody asked me a good question yesterday in the comments section. Shout out to Ty Dollar 11. What are 2 to 3 of your favorite play, Uncle, and that you are watching for the greatest gains? And I told him, I really like that question. And I wrote to him, I like to trade with the traps. As you guys know, and Uncle Charles has said this many times, that we are trading in a manipulated market. The stock market is manipulated, chat. They are, okay? So I said to him, I like to trade with the traps. So my favorite plays are the false breakout / false breakdown, level style with runners, okay? Now, you guys know that I made a video the other day where I explained how I find my levels. And I always give you guys these levels. Oh, watch the breakout of this level. Watch the breakdown of that level. But what does that even mean? I say stuff to you guys like, don't call a top. Watch for the false breakouts. Don't call a bottom. Watch for the false breakdown instead. What does that even mean? How do we use that to trade? How do we use these levels to trade? I want it for educational reasons. Like, I want to give you guys how my approach to the market is every day. I use the 15-minute chart, okay? Now, you guys can see here, this is where SPY opened at 9:30. This is the 9:30 candle. And the 9:30 candle opened at 541.35. Okay, it had a high of 541.59, but it opened at 541.35. Okay? So I wrote here in my Discord. This was the first post at 9:26 a.m. For more downside, 541.2 and 540 must fail to trigger puts, putting 538 or lower in play. And I wrote if 542.5 clears and 544 and 545.5 incoming. All right. So I needed the breakdown of support levels to, as I wrote here, trigger puts. Okay. And we got the breakdown. Boom. First candle of the day broke down my 541.5 level. And it smashed 540, as you guys can see. And what happened with this candle, the 945 candle? It broke down my 540 support level as well. Broke down 541.2, broke down 540, and went to a low of 537.45. I had a 538 target. So when I say level to level, if I'm entering based off of 541.2 breakdown, I'm looking to take profits, most of it, not all, most of it at 540. And then I leave a runner. And then when it breaks down, the next support, I'm targeting the next level of 538 with my runners. And I just move my stop losses up. On my initial entry, my stop loss would be up here. Once the next support level breaks down, I move my stop losses up. So then my stop loss would then be up here. So now my stop loss is in profits. Now I can just let my stop loss babysit my runners. So the runners hit the next level. At this point, I can take a little bit more profits. I can scale out some more if I want to, or I can just take all profits. Okay? Either way, whatever I choose to do, my stop loss keeps me safe for a level-to-level move minimum. Okay? But I mentioned to the viewer, Ty Dollar, I said to him, I like the false breakdowns and the false breakout setups. Okay? Now, the breakdown of the 541.2 level and the 540 level was a regular breakdown. But what's the false breakdown setup? Okay? The false breakdown setup is when we break down our support level. In this example right here, we broke down 540. And then we recapture the lost level. We broke down 540 and then we closed back above 540. On the 10-15 candle. That's a false breakdown. On top of that, to add insult to injury, if you're a bear, the next candle, the 10:30 candle, treated 540 as a support and found buying pressure. That's a false breakdown setup. One of my favorite setups to trade based on the 15-minute chart. And from there, the market continued to rise. It recaptured 541.2. Look at that. It cleared 542.5. Look at that. And it just kept going up. It cleared the 544 level. Look at that. Hit the next level. Level to level. And then it hit. And then what was not my next level? 545.5. It cleared 545.5 on the 15-minute chart. And it hit my 547 level. Boom. Level to level. You guys see why I play level to level with runners? You enter. False breakdown setup. Take most profit at the next one. Leave runners. Your runners will catch the home run move for you. Okay? And as your runners continue to climb up, you move your stop losses up. Or you can use a trailing stop loss to keep it more simple. Right? So then I also mentioned the Thai dollar. I like the false breakdown setup. And I like to play the false breakout setup. Right? Because the false breakdown setup traps the bears. I like to trade with the traps. But the false breakout setup traps the bulls. Look what happened when we cleared 545.5. We cleared it, treated it like support, hit the next level, level to level. We broke it down. False breakout setup. If you was playing in calls, your stop loss just got hit. If you was looking for a bearish play, this was it. False breakout setup. It's when it's a reverse of a false breakdown. We clear a resistance level, then we break it back down, at least on the 15-minute chart. I'm giving you guys how I trade, guys, so you guys can achieve similar results to Uncle Charters. Or better. And then what happened after we got the false breakout setup? We got followed through. We broke down the next support level here. Boom, we broke down 544. What happened when we broke down 544? The next target was 542.5. Broke that down. Hit the next target at 541.2. Right? And then what happened at 541.2? We broke it down. And then we recaptured it. False breakdown setup. This was not a big move, but it was still a false breakdown setup. Good enough for a level-to-level move from 541.2. Going up as high as 543.6. Almost hit that 544 level, but it was good enough for a level-to-level move. Now, what is a dead cat bounce setup? Obviously, a dead cat bounce is bearish, but what's the setup? It's like a false breakout, and here's an example right there for you. We bounced, false breakout, right there. We cleared 542.5, broke it back down. We cleared 541.2, broke it back down, and smashed the next targets. Are you guys understanding why I say trade? What I mean by trade with the traps? Thai dollar. I hope I answered your question. I love trading with the traps. You guys can see false breakouts, false breakdowns. It works beautifully, and you leave runners level to level. You leave runners. You know this is a manipulated market, so why not trade with the traps? Why not use the fact that this market is manipulated to our advantage? You can't do that unless you trade it unbiasedly like a sheep. You understand? Because if you trade biasly, you're too bullish or you're too bearish, you're the one that's going to get trapped. Because you won't admit that you're wrong. You won't honor your stop loss. You think your crystal ball is real. You guys understand what sheep style trading is? All right? So this is for educational purposes. You guys can use this approach. Price action trading. This is pure price action trading. You notice I don't talk about indicators or anything else like that. Pure price action trading. You guys can use this same approach. You guys know how I find my levels. You guys know how I find my entries and my exits. Stop loss or take profit, whatever it is. So, with that being said, more downside we got. And look at, you guys know I had the fib level from April 19th low, the uptrend all the way up to all-time highs. Got a bunch of fib levels that's tracking this uptrend. We hit the 38.2 fib level. Close right around there on 538. Guys, if we lose 538 tomorrow, more downside is incoming. All right? More downsides incoming. 536, 534, 531.2 would be in play. Those are the shorter term fib levels. But for the uptrend, the big fib level is at 529.5. So if we lose 538, this sell-off continues. Don't call a bottom until we get a false breakdown set up on the daily chart, or better yet, an exhaustion gap to the upside to indicate to us that the sellers are tired. Right now, the sellers don't look tired, guys. They don't look tired just yet. All right? To be bullish, to trust the bounce from 538, we still need the recapture of 542.5. We did it intraday, and it was good on the smaller time frame for level-to-level moves and all that beautiful stuff. But we did not get it on the daily chart, which means it's not good for a swing just yet. We need above 542.5 to be bullish on the daily chart. All right, guys, let's move on to triple Q. More downside incoming, and it closed right on the 50% fib level. I'm also tracking the uptrend on with triple Q. Closed right on the 50% fib level. You can't really see it, but it's at 458.2. All right, we're below it right now. Next support is at 455.5. That was around today's low. If that level fails, 458.2 and 455.5, the sell-off continues, and it looks impulsive, guys. It looks impulsive. As usual, trust no bounce or call no bottom unless we get an exhaustion gap to the upside or a false breakdown setup. That means lost levels need to recapture. 460. All right, there's a lot of levels. 460, 462.5, 464, and 467, especially the big fib level at 469. Can't get bullish until the price action reflects it, which is by recapturing lost levels. Tesla, a little bit of a higher close than yesterday. We lost 219 yesterday, recaptured it today. Didn't look like a strong recapture with this wick though, but anything can happen. If we can stay above 219, the recapture stays intact. And if the recapture stays intact, there's a chance for the bulls. All right. Targets to the upside would be 221, 222.5, and 224. With 226 above. Okay. Above 226, I'd be a lot more bullish. A gap above 226, I'd be a lot more bullish and favor 232 or higher in play. All right. If we drop back below 219, today's recapture was a dead cat bounce. 215 or lower would be back in play. All right. NVDA, holy moly donut shop, a lower close. Had a very nice long wick. Went as low as 106-ish and got the bounce. You know, very volatile day. If you're a sheep, you're trading these setups level to level, up and down. Doesn't matter. It's sheep's paradise. And I'm very grateful for days like today because we don't always get days like today. But overall, though, 111 is still that critical support level. We still didn't break it down. Broke it down intraday, but managed to recapture intraday. We need to close it below on a daily chart. And if we do, 109, 106.8 or lower would be in play. Bearishness continues. As usual, we trust no bounce unless we get that false breakdown setup. Recapture lost level, starting with 113.7, 115. The critical one at 116.5 because that's the descending triangle pattern. Kind of back tested it today as resistance, so that's overall bearish price action, okay? Fully can't trust a bottom is in unless we recapture this triangle pattern, giving us that big false breakdown setup. All right? And for viewers' choice, ARK. I haven't covered this in a while. One of the viewers asked me to cover this. I'd love to. I have fib levels from April 22nd low up to July 17th high. Okay, this looks like yesterday we broke down the fib level at 46.5. Got very close to back testing it as a resistance today. Okay. A little bit of a higher, very similar to Tesla actually. A little bit of a higher close than yesterday. But no real recapture of a critical lost level. All right. So 45.5 and 46.5 are those levels that need to recapture. If they do 48, 49.5, and 51 would be back in play. All right. To trust a bounce to trigger calls, I need to see 45.5 or 46.5 recapture. All right. To be bearish and trigger more downside, 44.6 needs to fail as support. Okay, he's been testing the last couple of days. Been pretty much holding so far. But if we break it down, 44.6, good for puts. 43.3, 41.6, and 39.7 would be the target. Had a double bottom around 41.6ish. A breakdown of that level would be a big win for the Bears. All right, let's get to the dog pool. 538.5 was a dog pool level for SPY today. About 46% of activity came from there. The other 45% came at 540.99. Okay. Let's look at triple Q. I hope this doesn't malfunction the flows. 463.13. 80% of activity was there for triple Q. 13% was at 458.22. That's nothing much. NVDA 112.28, 53%, and 114.25. That had 39% of activity there. So we know where big money's been parking their cash at. Tesla 220.25, a whopping 85% of activity was there. Add that level to your chart. Let's take a look at ARK. Nothing for ARK. No. Wow. All right. All right, let's see if the flows work. Flows look like they're working. So far, so good. And, oh, it's bearish for SPY. Does triple Q agree? And it agrees. No divergence on. Oh, my goodness. Tesla bearish as well. When was the last time we seen this, chat? And bullish for NVDA. Let's take a look at ARK while we're here. It's bullish for ARK. Somebody bought calls September 20th. Calls 47 strike. All right, guys. I hope you guys found value in today's video. Remember, if you need that extra pair of eyes to help you watch the charts, definitely consider joining my Discord. Peace.